Okay, I'm going to pretend like that was totally on purpose. That moment of silence where I started to talk and realized I was muted. Let's try that again. It's a moment of silence. And you know what I hear? Nothing. Because for the first time since October, my house is empty. I feel like the old lady from Poltergeist. This house is clean. Yeah, it's weird. It's almost like we don't know what to do with ourselves. Listen, I'm not complaining. I love people. I just absolutely love people. And it's taken me a long time to realize that I can say I love people and still be an introvert. Being an introvert isn't about whether or not you like being around people or whether you're shy or outgoing. Being an introvert is all about being around people depletes you at various paces. So, and you recharge by being alone. So I just putting that out there. I love people. I love having house guests. I love that we have a home that we can open up and invite people in. Ian came at the end of October, and when he showed up, it's like everybody just kept coming, including him. Hey friends, happy Friday night. I am so happy to be kicking off the weekend with you. I'm going to be doing a little bit of sewing. I'm going to work on block number 9 for the 2023 Designer Mystery Quilt from Fat Quarter Shop. Excuse me. It's a live stream. These things happen. You got to catch your breath and cover your vapors. You know what I'm talking about. I have all of my fabric starched and cut and labeled, and we're going to get to that in just a minute. But I promised a dear friend of mine that I was going to start off the live stream with a very important message. So I'm going to say this once, and then we're going to move on with the night, and we're not going to come back to it again. It's a hard message to deliver, but it's also a very good message to deliver. For those of you that don't know Handmade by Ying, Donna from Handmade by Ying, you know that her granddaughter Harper, who's about 8 or 9, had an incident in the fall where she's been in the hospital for a very long time, awaiting, sadly, a heart transplant. Now, we all know what the connotations of that mean. If she gets a heart, there's another sad story out there for another family. So I don't want to touch on that too much. I don't want to bring us down, but I do want to let you know a couple of things. Number one, Donna will not be live tonight because she is away with her other granddaughter's cheer camp. And of course, Murphy's Law, as soon as she landed, they got the call that her other granddaughter got the heart. So her family made a very hard decision to divide and conquer. Peyton needs love too, right? So she's stayed the course with Peyton at cheer camp while the rest of the family kind of rallied around Harper. And as soon as Donna gets back here, she will be loving on that little girl, I am sure, more than she ever has in the past. But right now she's loving on Peyton. I know she's been keeping her YouTube channel updated and her Facebook page updated and all the things updated. And for some people, that might be an overwhelming amount of information, but please keep in mind that this is her way of feeling connected with her family, feeling like she's able to do something, because she very much feels like she's not doing everything that she should be because she's so far away. So give her a little bit of grace there, but also keep in mind, like, I don't know. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because she said she's gotten some pretty nasty and hurtful comments, and it's made her, she's already got emotions going, but those have cut her a little bit deeper. So keep her in your thoughts, keep her in your prayers, send her some virtual love, put some hearts on her videos, just let her know that you're thinking about her. And that's all we're going to say. But remember, words sometimes under the veil of anonymity, can't even talk on the internet. When you say some words, the tone doesn't always get reflected. And just because you say something with one tone, it could be inferred as another. So there we go. I would just want to tell you, give her a little bit of grace, give her a little bit of love, and we're going to move on. All right. So, gosh, I don't even know how to run a live stream without people here. This has been a minute since I've had somebody in my sewing room. And honestly, over the past few months, even in those moments where I have been alone on a live stream, there's still been other guests in my home. I don't have any of that tonight. And I also don't have Donna doing a live stream tonight after mine. So if I go long, I go long. We'll see what happens. I do want to give Rachel Nelson a shout out. I am wearing a quilted jacket that she made for me. I made the block on the back. I sent her the fabric. I do owe her a little thank you package. I am horrible at mailing stuff. It will eventually get to her, but I might need help getting it to her. But she did make this for me. I got to wear it throughout QuiltCon, and I realized I put together my QuiltCon video with the pictures and the video clips and all the other things, and I never thanked Rachel for this in the video. So this is me thanking you, Rachel, for my awesome coat, which, by the way, I am wearing because it is just a sweatshirt jacket, so it's really lightweight. It's a little drafty in my sewing room tonight, so I'm wearing this for now. I know eventually I'm going to get a little overheated and I'm going to have to take it off, but for right now, it is perfect. Also, I went and got my nails done before the live stream tonight. And as I was sitting there getting getting my manicure, whatever, can't even think of words, a lady comes up and sits down next to me. She goes, "Oh, I love your jacket." And I was like, "Thank you." And she was like, "Did you make it?" And I didn't know how to answer that. Like, no, I didn't, but yes, I made the block. So I kind of diverted around it a little bit. I told her it was a kind of a collab between me and a friend. But mostly did I say that? Maybe I didn't give Rachel credit. And if I didn't, I'm so sorry. But I did tell her how she can make one of her own. And I walked her through how it's just a sweatshirt with some fabric over top of it. She was in love. And I think on her way to Walmart to pick up a sweatshirt and looking at the video on Stitch in Heaven. So we'll see what happens. All right, let's take a look at the chat. A couple of questions. Mouse would be great. We have a couple of questions in the chat. Folks are asking, is Mama Nancy going to get one? Yes, she is. Alexandra has a question. Hi from Scotland. Oh, not a question, just a comment. Hi from Scotland. I'm hoping to catch the whole live for the first time. Well, maybe this is a great night to not make the live 5 hours instead of just 2. Ian says, Papa John's needs to hurry up. I am hungry. Hello, Amy Dement. Hi, Catherine. I can't pronounce your last name, Catherine. I do want to do a really quick, hey, hi, how are ya, to all of the folks that I see in the chat that are part of my channel membership. So you'll see their names are popped up in green with a little heart, various colors next to them. So I just want to give them all a shout out really quick because they are supporting my channel monetarily. And I feel like as I go throughout the live stream. The chat moves way too quick for me to address every single comment that comes through. I can't even see half of them most of the time. So I'm just going to scroll up to the top and I'm going to say, hey, hi, how are ya? To Mona, to Silverita James. Hello, Silverita. Hard time with words sometimes. I see Pat Strawhouse is out there. Hello, hello, hello. Scrolling on down, looking for some more green names, just chasing through really, really quick. Jackie, DBD Stitch Art. Doreen Guerin said, she's a member and she's asking me a question. Did you see NKOTB on Kelly today? No, but I do have the video saved on YouTube to watch later. Happy Friday. Just make sure I didn't miss anybody else that is doing the channel membership. Hallelujah. I think I got everyone. Dragonflies for Donna is asking, I can leave now and show up on your doorstep if you need someone. Oh, you sure could. So Donna lives, Dragonflies for Donna doesn't live too far away. Hello, Kathy's Quilts and Crafts. Hello, Kathy. Hello, Sean. Hello, Beth Ann. Look at you, Beth Ann. Oh, and somebody just joined. Patty Trap. Hello, Cat Lady. Patty Cat Lady. Or wait, no, that's a different Pat, isn't it? It's a different Pat. I think it's a different Pat. Brat46 says, I want to create a cape using a block of a snowflake for the back. I think that would be amazing. Let's see. Jan. Oh, Sean, thank you so much for joining the membership program. Hello, Rolene. Rolene. I think you said Colleen, right? So I think I did it right. And Shelby, Math Geek. Okay. I think I got everybody. All right, so I do have a question in the chat. Several questions are asking, is there a video on how to put the fabric on the sweatshirt and if there is a pattern? I do not have a pattern. Sorry. I also do not have a video. Sorry. I also did not make this. Sorry. I feel like I'm just going to say sorry. But I can tell you this is a video that I've seen done a few times over on YouTube, and the video that looked to be the best detailed is on Stitch in Heaven's YouTube channel, Stitch in Heaven out of Texas. They have a 40-minute video walking you through this entire thing, how to do it. Rachel Nelson in one of our VIP Zooms over the course of a weekend walked folks through how to do this exact project, and I didn't have time to handle the project, but several people on that Zoom actually made one of these. They deconstructed the sweatshirt, they put their fabric on it, quilted it, and put it all back together. So it is definitely a weekend project. I would check out Stitch in Heaven's website or YouTube channel for now and see if that video will help you. Bill Imhoff, thank you so much for joining the channel membership. I definitely appreciate it. April Curry says, hello everyone, long time since I could catch a live watching on Saturday morning with my morning coffee. Awesome. Jill Chappell is here. Hello, Jill. I feel like I'm just saying hi to all these green names. Oh, and also, let's see, can I do the thing? Let's see, can I do the thing? Hold up. Oh no, I want this to go away. I want that to go away. Okay. I feel like if I click here, no, I don't think I do. So there's supposed to be a feature in YouTube that will allow me, I think I got to go to my actual channel to open the live chat to do it. Let me just try one more time. There's supposed to be a feature that will allow me to gift some channel memberships, just a 30-day pass, to my channel for free from YouTube if I click in the right place to do the right thing, but I don't know if I have it. So I'm just going to check really quick, because if I do, I'd love to give that away. Hello, Katie Vaught. Thank you so much for joining the channel membership. Oh, membership gifting. Do I have one for free? No, I don't. That's sad. Like, I have to buy my own memberships for my channel to give to you. And what you don't know is YouTube keeps 30%. So I'm actually paying for this. So we are going to do that. We're going to do 5 giveaways of So Becca VIP. Sorry, not So Becca VIP. we're going to do right now, just for the people that are in my chat. If you're watching this on the replay, it don't count. I am going to let YouTube randomly pick 5 30-day access channel memberships to my channel membership, the second tier, the $4.99 one. So I'm just going to click that really quick. It's going to do everything on its own. I have no control over this. This is done from the YouTube universe, and I am funding the giveaway. So 5 people get to enjoy 30-day access, and your names will be green in the chat for 30 days. How about that? Which helps me prioritize comments to you. Donna Dixon got one. Donna Sweetman got one. Jackie M got one. Melnia Montoya got one. And Donna Armstrong got one. Awesome. Way to go. Okay, now let's get to work. Hello, hello, hello. I see. Let me close this so I can see the chat, because the font on that screen was not good for my eyes. Not good. Celine says this is the first time watching you live. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Somebody asked a question about the binding on the jacket. I didn't catch the question, and it's already scrolled past. So if somebody could, maybe Ian, if you could message me that question so that I can keep an eye, or Mary, actually, you see her in the chat. All right. So while I'm listen, it wouldn't be a live stream if I wasn't confused. I'm distracted by the chat and the noise, and my feet are getting cold again. I want my slippers. Okay, I'm just going to get started. For step 1, we're going to take our, see, I'm all over the place. Is anybody out there laughing at me? Hello, Gigi Quilts. Thank you. Jean asked, can I ask how the binding is on your jacket? Sure, I can show you in the overhead chat. Wow, Glennie, thank you so much for joining the chat. I appreciate, or the channel membership. Lots of people picking up on that channel membership. By the way, all of you that are joining that channel membership, don't forget that I have monthly Zooms that I drop on the community tab the day before the Zoom happens. This month, we are doing a 2-day virtual retreat. So you can get into that Zoom virtual retreat by signing up for the channel membership here, or you can join my VIP program over on my website. And the difference is the VIP program comes with access to all of the patterns that I write and publish, even the ones that are for sale. You get to download them for free. And on my website, I also have your email address so I can get in touch with you, and I send you a monthly newsletter. On YouTube, all you get is the Zoom. And then, of course, prioritization in the chat, and you get to jump out. So let me go. No slippers allowed, Pete said. Hey, listen, slippers are allowed except for when I'm sewing. Let me do the overhead shot here. You can kind of see the binding is honestly just like when you do a quilt. She stitched it to the inside and then flipped it around to the front and then just edge stitched down. Christy P, thank you so much for joining the channel membership. Definitely appreciate that. Dragonflies for Donna said, did you end up ordering the whale pencil pouch? No, I did not. I'm hoping this view is good enough for everybody because I'm going to get started sewing. But before I do, wow, lots of, I'm all over the place tonight. Woo! Kathy Has Faith says, Becca, do you have a trick to use a scant 1/4 inch? Brat 46, thank you for joining the channel membership. Does anybody else feel like I am a little ADD right now going like this? So we're going to try and streamline the thoughts. The answer for Kathy Has Faith, my trick is my machine. So here's how you can find out. I'll go back to my face focus until I get ready to sew. Here's how you find out if you're sewing with a scant 1/4 inch. What I do is I take, and I have a whole video on this. You can go check it out. It's under my tips and tricks section of my channel. You can go right there. There will be a video on how to get the perfect 1/4 inch. And so what I do is I take 3 pieces of fabric that are the same size square. I usually go with like 2.5 inch because doing the math in my head makes sense. I can do it. I sew all 3 of those together, left, center, and right. And then after I sew them together, I measure that middle piece, because once I've taken a 1/4 inch on the left side and a 1/4 inch on the right side, I should have a 2 inch directly in the middle. Now, once I figured out where my true 1/4 inch is to do that, all I have to do is just move the fabric, the raw edge of the fabric, a thread or 2 closer to the needle. For my Juki, for Beulah and Bubba, for my Juki machines, I find the standard presser foot that you get with the Juki machine, if you line your fabric up with the edge of that presser foot, you get a scant 1/4 inch every time, and it always works for me. So just a barely scant. Pete Pablo just joined the channel membership. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Are squirreling tonight yet, Nancy? Yes, I'm squirreling tonight, but we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna wrangle the squirrels. All right, so we're gonna go to the overhead focus here. You should be able to still see me in the chat or in the pop-up, and you'll have the machine view here as well. By the way, do you guys see this cute little sticker right here? I can't turn it around for you because it's on my machine, but I do want to let you know that I've got a sticker here and a sticker here, and those are from Beth, who is Goody Goods in the chat. I also want to give a shout out to Mary. She bought me this cute little gift while we were at QuiltCon. You guys know we're always looking for that notion to label our fabric. So we've got alphabetties, we've got pins with numbers and letters on them, we've got all sorts of things. And this little package is a little canvas, I guess, a canvas bag, drawstring bag, and inside of it is a set of 26 clips. And on each one of those clips, it's kind of hard to see, but they did put an alphabet letter on there. So there's A through Z in here, and I guess they came in pinks and blues. Somebody else walked away with the blue. I have the pink. That's fine because pink's still a really good color. So I'm going to be using those tonight to keep my fabric labeled. The instructions say we're going to start off with our fabric B and our fabric D, and we're going to sew. Just want to look at this really quick. Okay. We're going to sew D to one side of that square. So let's just get started sewing this. Silverita says, good to know on the Juki, my new machine is still in the box. I guess who Nancy said, did you call me Aunt Nancy? Oh, how sweet. Maybe I did. And now it's going to stick. Hey, Aunt Nancy. Mona says she did that with stickers. How do you become a member on YouTube? Alexandra is asking. Down below the video, there should be a button that says join. And if you click on that, you'll have 2 price options, $1.99 and $4.99. I will tell you the benefits are exactly the same for both. The only difference is what you can afford. If you can afford the $4.99, of course, I will love you and appreciate that. But if you can only afford the $1.99, I don't want to make the program totally exclusive. Maybe in the future, I'll try to find some ways that I can give that $4.99 level a little extra benefit. But right now, it's same benefit for both levels. It's just what your pocketbook can afford and what you feel you want to spend every month. So both of these I am sewing onto the side, and I am pressing the seam underneath this fabric D. Now, I'm going to show you the block that we're putting together because I just started sewing and I didn't even show you what this looks like. This is the block that we're putting together, and I want to try to highlight, or I want to rotate this so that all of my fabric, my directional fabric, is going the same way. So I'm just being really careful to make sure that the direction of my fabric is oriented the way I want it to be before I sew the pieces onto the side. You don't have to do that, but it is the way I am choosing to do it. There isn't a button for people watching in the YouTube app or on phones. That's correct, Mennonite Farmhouse. So if you are on a mobile device, you can't join, I believe, from your device. I think you'll actually have to go to a computer to do that. I am so sorry about that. There's really nothing that I can do about that. Hopefully YouTube will release that for mobile devices in the future. If you are on a tablet, though, if you are on an iPad, you can just open YouTube in a browser. So like if you're on an iPad, you can open Safari, go to youtube.com, and bada bing, bada boom, you should be able to have it right there. Amy says, have a great night, everyone. The family decided to go out for Mexican instead of ordering pizza, so I'll have to catch the replay. Have fun with the pizza. Hello, Georgie Kane. How are you? These are now both done, so I'm going to put the clips back in here. Silverita says, I have 7 2023 mystery quilt blocks to get done. I am behind. Hey, listen, I feel you on that. I get behind on stuff too. By the way, folks were asking about this pattern weight. This is from Purple Hobbies. It's great because I can just put my little pattern in here and it just holds it up for me. This is wonderful. I absolutely love it. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is because Heather Snow from Purple Hobbies emailed me, thanked me for showing you that product, and offered me a coupon code for all of you for any item on her website. So you got that right. Like, she saw me talking about this. She was so excited about it that she gave me a code to give to you so you can get 20% off her entire website. If you go to purplehobbies.com, the code is SoBecca, and I will put that in the description box down below. Mary, if you could help remind me to do that, I would appreciate it. That way, if you're watching on the replay or you just want to come back to it, it'll be right there for you. Purple Hobbies is the same company that made the blade saver and the cup that holds all of my pins. They don't have a ton of notions, but what they do have, she has designed and 3D printed in home, and I absolutely love them. So you'll want to check those out. Jeanne, hello. Thank you so much for joining the channel membership. Andrea says, I'm pretty sure you can join from a phone in the app. There is a join button anyway. I did screenshots for Leanna. Awesome. Thank you. So Terry says, hi, Becca. I have the join button on my Android below the video if you X out of the chat. Ah, maybe that's it. Thank you. Joan says, Becca, did you recover your board and did you get a new spinning mat? Wow, you are just completely observant. Yes, I did. And yes, I did. The board that I had, the fabric that was on here was starting to get a little yucky. It was getting a little yucky. It needed to be recovered. So this week, while I was sitting in here chatting with some friends, or maybe it was while I was watching TV, I might have had a documentary playing, I pulled out this piece of scrap fabric. It is from the Tula Pinks True Colors line, and it is actually fabric that was pre-washed already. So I figured, why not use this? Because since it's pre-washed, probably won't very likely put it in with any quilt projects. I don't pre-wash my fabric before I quilt or before I piece. So I thought I would just cover the board with it because it's a beautiful color and I didn't want it to go to waste. Also, the new spinning mat, I actually had one of these before and I don't know why, but I gave it away and I don't even know who I gave it to, but I missed having it. Waka, 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 waka. So I got this stopping in Williamsburg at Halo Inspirations. Is that the name of it? If Stephanie from Memoirs of a Long Arm Quilter is in the chat, she'll correct me if I've got that wrong, but I believe it's Halo Inspirations. She does have a YouTube channel and she's got a brick and mortar shop in Williamsburg, and I stopped there on my way home from the Mid-Atlantic Quilt Fest. Georgie says, I'm great, Becca. Are you recovering yet? The first part of the year has been quite the whirlwind for you. Yes, it has. How are we in March already? All right, so once I have these done, I just need to organize myself really quick. I'm going to set these out so that they're in 4 quadrants so I can visually identify how they're going to go together. And now I'm going to sew this piece onto the bottom of the top 2 and the top of the other 2. Angel, that's her name, yes. Sean is also asking me, Becca, did you enjoy the Mid-Atlantic Quilt Fest? I did, though I'll be honest and tell you that it was not QuiltCon. It was good, but I just came from 4 days at QuiltCon the week before, so it was a little underwhelming. Not that it was a bad show. It wasn't. It was just a different vibe entirely. There were some extremely breathtaking quilts that were on display at Mid-Atlantic. I did capture photos of all of those, and I don't have the artist statements from those quilts, but I do have photos of them, and I'm debating about tossing together a compilation video over the next week or so, just with some music to the background and maybe talking to you about the quilts that I saw and what I thought about them rather than the artist statement and crediting who did it, because I forgot to grab all that info. Let me know in the chat if you would be interested in seeing some of the quilts that I found beautiful and inspiring from Mid-Atlantic Quilt Fest. Alexander says, I've got the 16-inch mat and love it. The 10-inch was continuously sold out. I was actually waiting for the 16-inch. I had the 10-inch, and I feel like I gave it away because I wanted the bigger one, and I never bought it. And when we stopped in at Angel's Quilt Shop on the way back from Mid-Atlantic Quilt Fest, she had one sitting out, and I wanted to buy something to support her little shop. So I was like, well, I keep hemming and hawing about buying one of those, so I'll just buy this. That'll work. And I think I bought like 3 fat quarters as well, and maybe something else, but I think it was just, 2 yards of fabric, 2 yards of a fabric that she had that I liked, the rotating mat, and then 3 fat quarters. Amber, okay, I'm not sure if that's a real person. Amber the kitten says, I keep clawing my legs. Huh. Is that a real person? Hi, Amber. Are you really real, or are you a kitty cat meow? Aunt Nancy. Aunt Nancy says, yes, please. I love seeing the quilts. Hello, Karen Brunette. Hello, Janine. Pam says, I don't understand the member thing. I thought I became a member. Pam, that's different. Pam, the channel membership is completely separate and apart from Becca VIP. There's not a way that I can connect the two. I am so sorry. You're getting the better benefit you're getting more from the VIP program. VIP program is access to monthly Zooms, all of my patterns, downloads, and a monthly newsletter. The channel membership also has access to the Zooms, but you don't get the newsletter, you don't get access to the free patterns, but your name does show up in green here. I wish there was a way that I could synchronize my channel membership with my YouTube channel, my website membership with my YouTube channel, and I can't. They are separate and different. Sorry. Amber says, I'm a human that has a personality of a cat. Okay, Amber, that sounds good. I was going to say, if you're a cat, you're doing a really good job typing. Hello, Nancy Jean. You can't really see what I'm doing when I push it way back here, can you? If you are having a problem with the website membership program, shoot an email over to info@sobecca.com and we'll help get you straightened out. How do I get to your website? www.sobecca.com. Just remember, if you are paying for the channel membership over here to make your name turn green, that is not the same thing as the VIP program on my website that gives you access to all of my patterns for free. All right, so there are my 4 pieces. Now I am going to move on to, happy we change our clocks this weekend. Doreen says, no, not me, not me, not me. So that's an hour less of sleep. Yeah. I'm ready for another 3-day weekend. Can we have one of those? All right. let's take a look at the next little thing that we're going to do here. We're going to work with some quarter square triangles that we cut. So there's another spot to go to. Jean, no, if you are a VIP member, I'm sorry, this is confusing. Let me explain this really clearly. I used to have just a channel membership here on YouTube, which is what you see when everybody has their name green. Oh, that is not what I wanted to do. Let's go here. However, I couldn't reach members easily, and I couldn't connect with them because all I had was your YouTube name. So I left the channel membership in place and I treated it more as a tip program for a while. And in exchange, I set up a proper membership program. I feel like it's a proper membership program for the same price, $5 a month, over on my website. That website membership is an exclusive all access program. It is not the same thing as my channel membership. For either $55 a year or $5 a month, anytime I write a pattern, you get a copy of it for free, period. You also get a monthly newsletter the first week of every month, letting you know what I've been up to, what I have planned, so you get some behind the scenes details on what's going down in my life. Once a month, I host a Zoom sew-in, usually the final Sunday of every month from 2 to 6. And once every quarter, we do a weekend retreat where the Zoom is open all day Saturday, all Saturday night, and all day Sunday. So Saturday morning through Sunday evening. Fast forward a little bit, I decided I wanted to give folks that were still supporting me on YouTube a little bit of something because they're still, I just wanted to give a benefit back. So now what I do is for the Zooms that I hold for the VIP members over on my channel, or I'm sorry, on my website, and that's what's probably confusing you is I keep saying channel instead of website. I have been sharing the Zoom link with anybody that is monetarily supporting my channel. They are not the same program. They share a benefit. They are different. I cannot connect the two. I'm sorry. They are separate and apart. So you could join both if you wanted to, but if you're looking just to get in on the Zooms, you can do either one. If you're looking to get the Zooms and the patterns and the newsletter, you have to join the website. I hope that was clear. I'm sorry if I confused you. Shelly McKnight, thank you for joining the channel. We'll call it the fan club. Like I don't know how else to say it because when I say membership, I don't want people to think it's my website thing. Does that make sense? I hope so. Okay. I could beat a dead horse. Let's not do that. I'm going to set these aside. I'm going to grab my fabric A, my fabric F, and my fabric E, and we're going to make squares out of these. So we're going to need 2 piles of this, just like this. What we're going to do is lay it out. Let me go back to the overhead view so you can see what I'm doing. We're going to point these in so that the top of the triangle is pointing into each other. We're going to take fabric A and put that on top, and we're going to take fabric F and put that on the bottom. We're going to make 4 units that look like this, but we're going to have to be really careful because these all have bias edges, which means the fabric's going to be a little stretchy and a little wonky. So just be really careful when you're putting this together. It does say to do these and then do these, press the seam to this fabric for both of them, and then sew them together. So I'm going to show you how I do that. I'm going to do one first, walking you through it step by step. Ooh, baby. Anybody else start singing New Kids on the Block? I did. I'm going to do one first, walking you through all of the steps, and then I will do the other 3 while I'm just chatting with you guys. So the first thing I want to do is make sure I absolutely know which of those short sides I'm sewing on, because if you sew on the wrong side, you're going to get a reversed half square triangle unit or quarter square triangle unit. Ask me how I know. Donna says, I squirreled for just a moment and didn't catch what you said about Purple Hobbies. Purple Hobbies has a number of different items here on my table that they produce. This magnetic pin cup is amazing. It's from Purple Hobbies. My blade saver, you put a rotary blade in it, you can use it to cut your thread, is from Purple Hobbies. And this pattern weight is from Purple Hobbies. They've got other notions there as well. And Heather Snow, who is the founder behind Purple Hobbies, has given me a coupon code to share with you. It is Becca on her website, and it'll get you 20% off of anything on her website. All right, press this under here too. I'm going to set these aside because I don't want them to be in the way. I'm going to bring over my pressing board. I'm going to show you how I press these. Let's move the mat. 20% off. Hey, Sassy Staff, how are you? Deb says, hello, everyone. I am watching from Iowa. Leanne says, now I need to go shop. 20% off. Like, I could give you the Fat Quarter Shop link to the same products because Fat Quarter Shop does carry most of their things, I believe, but you won't get 20% off there. So, yeah, Shelby, we want to know when your long arm arrives, just so you know. Hey, there's my sister Nicole. Nicole Nunya, you guys. Her last name is not Nunya. Nunya stands for Nunya Business. Hello, Nicole. All right, so once I have these 2 units sewn together and pressed underneath the floral fabric, I'm going to put them right sides together, and I have my seams going in opposite directions, so I should be able to nest this really nicely together. I can feel those seams bumping up against one another. So let me just walk you through this in case you are a new sewer. I'm going to zoom in nice and tight on this piece of fabric. If you don't know what it means when people tell you to nest your seams, if your seams are going in opposite directions, then when you put the fabric pretty sides together, right sides together, the bulk, would you focus? Focus. Focus. Hi, we're over here now. There we are. The bulk of the seam will go in opposite directions, and when you put them right up against each other, you'll feel it bump right like kissing. Not this way. They're kissing each other. Like I don't know how else to explain it. You can feel it with your finger. If it is too far apart, you're going to feel a valley in between those seams. If they are on top of each other, it's going to feel real thick compared to what it used to, or what it felt like. What I like to tell new quilters is put this so that there's maybe just a couple of threads in between the two and feel what that feels like. You'll feel that ridge. And then just kind of use your fingers to slide the fabric over until that ridge goes away, but make sure that it's not sitting on top of one another. Once you think you have it in place, you can just peel one of those back, and you should have all 4 of those fabrics coming to a point right in the center, kind of like old school Foursquare from, elementary school days. You can hold this with your fingers and go to the sewing machine. You could pop a pin in it, or you could just put a clip on it, whatever works for you. I'm just going to hold that with a clip. I'm going to zoom back out, and then I'll go to my sewing machine and sew right down this long edge with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now I am holding that seam. You can't see just yet, but I am holding that seam where those fabrics come together. Once my needle gets into the seam, I'll let go of it and I'll reposition my fingers down a few inches before the start of the foot. There we go. Hello, Christina from Monroe, Michigan. Once those are sewn together, then we're going to bring this back over to our pressing mat. And it says for this one, we're going to press the seam down towards the bottom, which has the blue. Yeah, press towards here. Sometimes showing you on video is so much easier than explaining with words, because I can just say, do this, and then I can go do the thing, and you know what I was doing. Shelly Clark says, I'm a garment sewer. I am not afraid of pins. LOL. I am not a garment sewer, and I am sometimes, most times, afraid of pins. Ain't nobody got time to get blood all over their fabric. Diane says, you've probably answered this many times before, but which Juki sewing machine are you using? Well, it's funny you asked, Diane, because if you would have asked me 2 weeks ago, you would have got a different response. I have two Juki sewing machines. I have a Juki TL2010Q, which I affectionately refer to as Bubba. Bubba is sitting at my guest workstation now, and this is Beulah. It is a Juki TL18. Shirley Macy says, hello from Eagle River, Alaska. Hello, Shirley. This one, when we're all done, we are going to square it up. I'm going to show you how I square this up before I sew the next three, just so you see the whole thing holistically, and you don't have to hunt and peck for the next steps of this in the replay. You get your info in, get on with your day. You know what I mean. I just want to make sure I have the right ruler. I think I'm going to opt for my Creative Grid square ruler. I'm sorry, not Creative Grids, my Quilter Select ruler, because these don't shift. And I get this question all the time, so let me just show you what I mean by that. This is the same size ruler from Creative Grids. Look at this. Like, I'm trying to move the ruler on top of the fabric, and I'm pushing really down. It's you can't beat that. No comparison. William Robert says, I am so curious about the Acorn Precision pressing pen. Do you always use that for each and every seam? Does it add consistency and seam allowance? You rock those nails. You rock, and those nails are done. Awesome. Wow, that was a lot. First of all, thank you. Just got them done tonight. I have been going with them being a little bit shorter with just a pop of color because I feel like they're more functional. And I don't hate it. The Acorn Easy Pressing Pen. I started using this when I started working on Legit Kits, which is foundation paper piecing. This was game changer to get some of those really bulky FPP seams nice and flat. And it has translated into traditional piecing for me. Do you have to use it on each and every seam? No. Is it overkill? Probably. Do I do it anyway? Yup. Yeah, sometimes you just get into that muscle memory. You know what I mean? All right, so let me show you how I square this up, because this is a technique that you're going to want to know how to do. This unit, I will tell you, has to be squared to 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches. And unfortunately, in order to be able to square this, we got to do a little math. We have to know how big, because it's a quarter square triangle, we need this point to be right dead center on the block. Because this is 4.5 inches, we have to know what half of 4.5 inches is, because this point is going to be at that halfway point, both from the sides and the top. Half of 4.5 is, say it with me, 2.25. So what I'm going to do is find the 2.25 mark on my ruler. I'm going to make sure that that center point is right where that 2.25 mark is. I'm also going to look for the 2.25 mark going up and down, and the 2.25 mark going left and right. And I can see that this little crosshair right here, it's probably hard to see in the video, it is right where that point is. The other thing that I'm going to look for is the 45-degree line on my ruler, and I'm going to make sure that that is right on top of my seam. Once I have all of that in place, I'm going to hold my ruler down. I will cut through the right. I will rotate, cut, and then I'm going to rotate again. And this time I'm going to slide down and do the same thing for the other two sides. But now instead of just lining up the 2 1/4 in the middle, I should also be able to line up the 4 1/2 along the side and along the bottom. So just like this. And that is what we're making 4 of. Perfect. All right, now I'm just going to chat while I work on the other ones because I showed you what I was doing. Zoom out a bit more. There we go. Let me lay them out. Becca, is there a big difference between the first Juki and your new Juki? Not really. If you are a bag maker, this one has a micro lifter that allows you to adjust the pressure on your presser foot without readjusting and resetting all of your tension, which is great for doing a lot of quilting or bag making or working with a lot of bulk. I predominantly use my Juki for piecing, so I don't need that. I use my long arm for my quilting and stuff, but occasionally I'll put a bag or something through here, so that's nice. The other thing that it has is this piece right here. These are the screws for the Seam Alliance. What is this, Star Wars? These are the screws for the seam gauge that you can put on the machine. The TL2010Q had that as well, but those holes were on the bed of the machine, whereas this piece is removable and replaceable. So if you mess it up, dink it, strip the screw holes, whatever, you can replace that. There are 2 other things that I have noticed different on this machine. The first one being, let me turn off my Caterpillar light. This is the light on the machine on high, medium, low, off. So high, medium, low, off. The Juki is on or off, period. This is super helpful for filming because sometimes I just need a little bit of light. But I will say this light, can you see how there's, when I use this light, I get lines in the camera. So I usually try to turn that off and use this one instead. It's the type of light that's in there. So I actually don't, I thought I was going to use it on low and I ended up not using it on low. Corrine says, so Becca, I haven't seen a live for a long time. Thank you for being here. Can you tell me when your house was built? In the 80s. House was built in the 80s. So Horse, creative cats, I love it. So Becca, did you get Bubba's needle threader fixed? Yes, I did. Tiffany actually fixed it. So the needle threader on, I'm going to tell you guys about this because this is part of the reason why I was like, okay, we're just sticking with Juki. Because Alba, who was the Juki representative at the Juki booth at QuiltCon, like we had multiple conversations that spanned a couple of days, and she can, like, I was like, all right, yeah, like if I have problems, I'm just going to call Alba. So here's what happens with the needle threader, and the shop even told me the same thing. When it comes to the needle threader on this machine, this little guy is the needle threader, and inside of here there is a little tiny tripwire, and that wire is perfectly positioned to go through the eye of your needle when the needle is in the correct position, grab the thread and pull it through for you as long as you have everything lined up just right and you've used it the right way. I'm going to make sure I'm sewing this the right way. Speaking of the right way, the problem is, and nobody told me this, but I know now, when you use the needle threader, even if you were just sewing, you want to press the needle up and down button once to put it down and once again to put it all the way up. And if it's somewhat part of the way down, let me just put it part of the way down. I'm still going to press the button. It's going to bring it up to the top. And then when it does that, I'm going to press it again to put it down and again to bring it up to the top. Because if this is off a hair. Think about how tiny that hole is. If that is off just a hair, then what will end up happening is the wire that's supposed to go through the eye of the needle gets a little bent. It's still there, but it's no longer lined up perfectly with the eye of the needle. So you have to bend the wire back into place, and Tiffany did that for me. I know I could have done that, but my eyes are not what they used to be. So it was hard for me to really see it and finagle with it. Tiffany was able to use her glasses as a magnifying lens and did the thing and got it working. The discount is So Becca, all one word. Sorry. The discount for Purple Hobbies is So Becca, all one word. If it's, let me know if somebody used So Becca with a space and tell me if you got your 20%. I thought it was supposed to be all one word. Try both. If you put it in So Becca, all one word with no space, and you don't get a discount, then add the space. If you put it in with the space and you don't get the discount, try it without the space. But I promise you, one of those will work. Maybe both of them will work, and you'll get your 20% off. Lady Fair says, I have the TL18 and I just thread it by hand because the needle threader is too fiddly. What is her name? Tracy. Why am I blanking on Tracy's name for all people? She did a video on the needle threader, and when I watched that, I was like, oh, I get it now. I promise you. You're way too high. Check out the video from the sewing channel. Tracy from the sewing channel. She did a video on how to use the needle threader on a Juki. It's life-changing. Once you learn how to do it, you don't want to you always want to use it. And if yours isn't working, you probably just need to adjust the wire. Diane says, at QuiltCon, I bought the Juki TL18. I'm so excited to get it. That lighting adjustment is just amazing. It is. It is. Silverita says, I have figured out the needle threader on my Singer and Brother machines. Awesome. Oh. All right, we'll set those there. I don't know why I'm holding that so close to my face. Are we trying to have an accident on the live stream tonight? Because apparently. Hey, Gia! Gia's in the chat. She says, hello, Shelby, West Coast girls. What light do you have attached to your machine? This is the Caterpillar light. Mary, if you could get a link to the Caterpillar light from Fat Quarter Shop, I think I have an affiliate link for that in my share a sale. It might also be in my description box of the video. People ask me that question all the time, so maybe if we could add a command for that, I would appreciate you. And I would appreciate the command. Susan's new Janome has a needle threader. And Donna says, I could not live without my needle threaders on my machines. I feel you, girl. I thought I could until it wasn't working, and then I was sorely mistaken. Lady Fair says, I'm using Text 45 thread, and you can't use a needle threader or thread cutter for the heavier threads. Oh, good to know. Mostly I just run 50 weight Aurifil on my Juki, so. Oh, cool. Thank you, E. Curry. E. Curry says the coupon works with and without the space. Good to know. I'm glad everybody's able to get their 20% off. And from what I understand, that coupon does not have an expiration date, guys. So if you are watching this 3 years in the future, try it. It probably still works. Diane says, threading our machines has always been the nemesis to our craft. LOL. All right, we've got, this is what we're making. So I'm going to set this here for reference. Yep, like that. Uh-oh. 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 Anybody see the problem here? Oh. Never mind. Here's your sign. always do that with half square triangle units where I start trying to put them together like this. I'm like, but that's only half of a half square triangle. Oh, goodness. Mary, can you go into Share a Sale and get the affiliate link for that Caterpillar light? I think it should be in the description box down below. It also might be in Share a Sale. When the Amber Air Surger came out, I was sold, Diane said. Mindy says, I added a strip of LEDs to the throat of my machine for better lighting. I did that too. Marilyn says, I just went shopping. Thanks for sharing, Becca. Hey, listen, I'm always happy to pass on a good deal. 20% is a good deal. I'll take 20%. That's like Black Friday deal right there. Especially because the notions that she has are unique. Ooh, Gia's watching us from the Mexican restaurant. Great, pass the tortilla chips. I'll take some chips and salsa. Actually, now I want Mexican. And some black beans and rice. Yum. Right, we're going to press this down towards the blue. Alexandra says, my new Janome has amazing lighting. I don't need my craft light anymore. Awesome. My mom's Baby Lock has really good lighting in it. She probably doesn't need a ton of extra lighting with that machine. And by the way, I think I have finally convinced her to take the Baby Lock home with her next time she comes up. Corinne says, Becca, do you still get any subscription boxes? I get 2, but I don't do unboxing videos for them anymore. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see me do unboxing videos for just those 2. I would be willing to reconsider for just those 2. Listen, here's the reality, and I'll talk about this while I'm pressing my seams. I get the Fat Quarter Shop Sew Sampler because I thoroughly enjoy that box. Most of the time I like the fabric that's in there, and the notions are usually first to launch on the market, so I like getting them. And the patterns are exclusive to the Sew Sampler box. You can't get them unless you're a member of their subscription box, and it's economical. Like, it's affordable. It's only about $30 a month, so I don't mind. I feel like the value is definitely there. The other one that I get is actually sent to me for free from Natalie Pratt from Ginger Quilter. And I do try to showcase that box occasionally. I don't do every single one, but I try to at least show them in a live stream every so often, or sew the project and show you guys what they look like. And that is the Ginger Quilter box. If I didn't say that already, those are the only 2 that I still get. Now, here's the story here's the story on the boxes. What happened? I got tired of opening boxes. I have always wanted to create more content, different type of content. I have always wanted to do tutorials. I have always wanted to do stories. I have always wanted to do tips and tricks and other things on the channel. But when you get as many boxes as I was getting, your bandwidth to create those videos was drastically reduced. So I took a leap of faith into a different direction. I stopped getting the boxes and started focusing on prioritizing my time to share content that wasn't just unboxing related. I started doing tutorials, I started doing sew-alongs, I started focusing on other things that weren't just box related. I know a lot of you still miss those unboxing videos, but I just lost the passion for doing as many as I was doing. Still get 2. I like working on them. But I also thought, at least for the Sew Sampler box, there are so many people out there doing unboxings for the Sew Sampler box now. And I think they always were. I think it's always been that way. But there's just so many people doing it that I just felt like, why am I stressing over making that unboxing video when I could make something else that nobody, like, I can't say that nobody's making, but I could make something that's unique and is more compelling to watch, right? Because if you think about it, from an unboxing video, that video, really the compelling desire to watch is in the beginning when the content is being released, when the package is being opened. But once it's out there and everybody's seeing what's inside the box, it's not so compelling to watch, right? Let me know what your thoughts are. Love to hear them. Exactly, Donna. Donna says you only need to open the box. You only need to see the box opened one time, not multiple times every month. Exactly. I don't want to be that channel that is doing the same video that everybody else is doing every single month. So when everybody started opening, and not that everybody wasn't doing it before, but in the beginning when I started my channel, I didn't know, like, I needed to kind of cut my teeth on something to get me comfortable being in front of the camera. Unboxings were that. I was figuring out my style. I was figuring out my format. I was getting comfortable being on a live stream. I was getting comfortable recording and editing videos. And I feel like that chapter has kind of closed for me, and I'm moving on to other things. It doesn't mean that I won't share an occasional unboxing. I still get them. I still like them. And I think all of them are great deals, and they're all wonderful products. And I still, if you have the money for it, I don't discourage you from getting them. Feel free to lean into any of those boxes that might be tickling your fancy. I just outgrew making the content for them. I'll tell you what, though, it was a very scary thing to do, because I know I was known for the unboxings, at least for a little while. And I'm not saying I was the only one that did them good. That's not what I'm saying. I just know that people knew me for the boxes that I was opening. And I was going to let go of that. And I was terrified that I was going to bomb. I was terrified that people were going to stop watching my channel. Nobody was going to come here anymore because I wasn't opening boxes. But I had to lean into the fear and pivot, right? I had something else I wanted to say. I had a different type of content I wanted to make. I don't know why I'm not rotating the mat and I'm still rotating the fabric. I guess creature of habit. There we go. Susan says, I am done replacing the torn half-square triangle units, and before I make another boo-boo, it's time to turn the iron and sewing machine off and head to game night at church. Good night, everybody. Good night. Donna Hinch says, do you have your house back to yourself now? Yes, ma'am, I do. They're all gone for the moment. Aw, Dawn Stewart says, you chose well. Thank you. Let's see. I just poured my heart out there with the... By the way, I know my sister is watching, and I did see your comment, Nicole, about Harvey wanting me to come out of the TV. She messaged me, oh man, it's off again. Why is the mouse not working? I think the battery's low. What's going on with my mouse? There it goes. Her 3-year-old, 4, something. Her son, who's 3 or 4 years old, asks her to turn on my YouTube channel to watch videos of Aunt Becky. Joan says, question, I agree there are many unboxings. I like the way Tiffany does one of her unboxings. She shows the content and then makes the projects. Others are just showing content. Yep. Absolutely. Tammy Boyd is asking, can I please have the name of the iron that you're using? That is the Panasonic cordless iron. It is WL607. Gia says, what is your passion now? I want to teach. I want to write patterns. I want to teach. I want to do tutorials. I want to do quilting vlogs. I just want to make content that inspires you, teaches you, and entertains you. And I want it to be focused around quilting. If it does those things, one of or all of them, I'm happy. And I think that's always been kind of my goal. I just didn't, in the beginning when I started the channel, I had imposter syndrome. Is that a thing? And maybe I still have it to some degree now. I had only been sewing or quilting for a couple of years, if that. I don't know everything. I didn't know everything. And I was a little afraid of getting behind the camera and being like, okay, guys, I'm going to teach you how to do A, B, C, and D. And I would be teaching you wrong. Or, and this is really what my biggest fear was, I would come with this air of confidence about me, and I don't know, like, I didn't want to be seen as putting on a front or being phony or fake or, oh my goodness, acting like I'm better than anybody else or having all of the answers or knowing more than anybody else. If you know me outside of YouTube, and I like to think that who I am right now in front of the camera, looking into your eyes, is exactly who I am when the camera is turned off. If there's any one thing that would cut me to my absolute core, it's that somebody would think that I felt like I was better than you, or that I knew more than you, or that, yeah, I didn't want that. I was watching Jenny Doan doing quilt tutorials. I was watching Fat Quarter Shop, Crafty Gemini, all of these other YouTubers, and they always had the answer, and they were light years beyond where I was. And I didn't think that I was them or I could be them, not without decades of experience. So that's kind of what shied me away from doing a lot of the tutorials in the beginning. Not because I couldn't teach, because I know that is a gift. I know that is a gift I have, and I'm not trying to sound, what's the word? I'm not trying to sound conceited, but I am aware that that is something that I can do. And for the most part, it does resonate with people, and I really enjoy doing it. But I didn't know my material well enough to feel confident in the teaching. I'm getting there, though. All right. I'm rambling, and I still didn't go back and look to see what y'all were saying about the boxes. So I'm going to take a second to read the chat. Josie Brown says, I just bought the Panasonic cordless iron. I love it. Absolutely. Carla says, I love watching you make everything so easy to understand. Awesome. Juanita says, I've met you several times and you are the real deal and so down to earth. Thank you. That is so kind. I appreciate that. And I didn't bring that up because I wanted everybody in the chat to resonate or sound off, be like, yeah, you're awesome. That was just me sharing my heart. That wasn't trying to stir up the So Becca fan club, if you will. Jeanne says, it seems like a lot of people that was unboxing wants to complain about what is in the box. I just got tired. Yes. That is the other thing that I really liked about the unboxing videos. I always tried to bring it from the standpoint of, this is the box. This is everything that's inside. This is how you use it. This is why it was probably selected. This is what the value is, and then end. Without telling you what I loved or what I absolutely hated. If I did have constructive criticism, I always tried to keep it positive, and I would occasionally toss it in. But nobody wants to come to a channel and just hear a bunch of naysayers. I already have this notion. I already have this fabric. I don't like the box. It's subpar. Well, okay, that's great. Then why did you spend the money to get the box? You knew what was coming in it. Why'd you buy it? Sorry. Linda says, did you talk about the purple heart thing behind you? Is that a block? I did not, but we will talk about that in just a moment. William Roberts says, looks like somebody's agreeing with him. Pat Strawhouse says, Becca, you are not an imposter. You meet us where we are in this journey of quilting that's pretty significant. All can learn something. You always seem to give more gems than others, thankfully. Oh, William, I want to hug you. Deborah says, I've been quilting about as long as you have, and I have learned a tremendous amount from you. You're real. You encourage and make it easy to understand. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Tiffany says, you are a fabulous teacher, and we love you. You keep doing you, boo. Tiffany, I have been on the long arm every day for at least 15 minutes practicing different stitches. On that little sample that you loaded before you left, you would be so proud of me. And by the way, all of my glide thread came, and it's all on the wall. And I'm still using the glide thread that's on the machine. Stephanie Fulton says, Fat Quarter Shop has the Bliss kit for $62.49. There was another to want to do an heck no. No. Thank you, Beth. I appreciate that compliment. Casey says, if you can tell a story about going number one on the potty in a public forum, you cannot get any more real than that. You have a talent for making people laugh, and I always need a good laugh. Oh man, I forgot I told that story. I have no filter. I have no filter. I mean, I tell Ian to look at my rack. It's a whole thing. Which, by the way, I showed that video to Jason last night because he hadn't seen that clip, and he just shook his head and walked out of the room. Tabitha says, Becca, I think you're amazing. Your live and Fat Quarter Shops are the only two lives that I most consistently watch. I am starting to watch more of Ian's and some of Tiffany's, thanks to you. Awesome! Content creator, best way to support them is to subscribe and watch their content, so I know they both appreciate that. So thank you, Tabitha. All right, I'm going to scroll on down. Erica says, I met you, Tiff, and Ian in Hampton last week. It was like watching you in 3D. You all were just as you are on YouTube and very welcoming. Thank you. All right, I'm scrolling to see if there's a question, and all I've got are all these compliments. So thank you for all the compliments. I see them. I recognize them. I love them. They make me feel very loved. You are very kind. But I also don't want to make this the Becca show where ironically, it is the Becca show, but you know what I mean. I don't want to sit here and read all of them. I do see them. I do acknowledge them. Thank you. Looking to make sure I didn't miss any questions. Okay, you know what? It's too far back. If you miss me doing the unboxings and want to see me do maybe in the month of March, the unboxing video for Ginger Quilter and an unboxing video for Sew Sampler, put a heart in the chat and I won't ask anything else. Okay. Oh yeah, you could. Actually, that's a really good point. Gwendolyn says you could just always add your box opening to your live. And hello, Gwendolyn. That's a good point. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe we'll just open it the Friday after it ships, after I get it. We'll do that. And then we'll go on with whatever I'm working on. Okay. So if you put a heart in the chat, it'll be a live stream, not a recorded and edited video. Brenda Womack says, who was the coupon code for? It was for Purple Hobbies. Man, I'm just like, all I got to do is sew these blocks together and I'm caught up in the chat today. All right, I see you, hearts. I see you, hearts. I use the HLX5 organ needles. I usually go with a size 80-12, but I also keep a supply of 90-14. Those are the needles that I use in the machine. Thank you, Mary, for answering the question. I see all those hearts in the chat, and I love Daryl's response. You should only do it if you enjoy it. I don't know if I will do an edited video, but what I will commit to doing is at least sharing with you every month when the boxes come an unboxing of those two, at least in the live stream on the Friday after I receive them. Right at the start of the video so you can get to it. But I don't know if I'll actually record and post the videos. We'll see. I just don't want to get back into the world of unboxings because it becomes a beast. You open a couple, those videos perform really well, and somebody else wants you to open their box, and somebody else wants you to open their box. And then the next thing you know, you've got 20 boxes coming, you're overwhelmed at the number of unboxing videos that you have to create, and you've got a plethora of stuff that you don't know what to do with because you can't sew all of those projects in a month. But they make excellent giveaways. Never had a problem using them as giveaways, so that's always nice. Oh, I'm still on the big screen, aren't I? Do you guys want me to switch back to the 3 camera? Yeah, you do. What table do you have your Juki installed on? Silverita is asking. This is the Quilter's Vision cabinet. The machine is recessed down inside the sewing cabinet, and what makes it look custom is I bought one of those clear acrylic surrounds that go around the machine from Sew Steady. It's designed to be inside of a cabinet and then wraps around the Juki. The difference is I bought some white vinyl from Michaels and put that on the back of the acrylic, or put that on the back of the acrylic table to make it look like it's a custom table. It's not. It's just a regular piece of sewing furniture you buy from your quilting shop. Regular clear surround that you get from Sew Steady. I just put white vinyl like you would get in the Cricut aisle on it to make it match my cabinet. I've got somebody asking, Kelly Moiter is asking, when's your next virtual retreat? It is the week of the 24th, Palm Sunday, the weekend before Easter, Saturday through Sunday. If you are a member of the channel membership, or if you are a member of my VIP program on my website, you are invited to attend. If you're a member of the VIP program, that link was included in your March newsletter. We will send it out again the week before. And then for everybody else that is channel membership and wants to participate in that, you will have the link to it Friday night before the retreat. Okay, so we're going to press the seams out on the top and bottom row and in on the middle row. I am new, so it would be good to see some of your patterns before buying. Is that possible? Yes. All of my patterns that I have bought, or all of my patterns that I have for sale, are in my Etsy shop, so you can see them. They are all beginner friendly. I try to not write anything that is super complicated. Some of them even have accompanying videos that go with them. There are some exclusive patterns that are in my download area that are not available for sale. If you want more details, just send an email to info@sewbecca.com and we'll answer any questions that you have. Karen Brunette says, have you ever done free motion quilting on your Juki? Actually, no, because I have the long arm. It's a whole pain in the katukas, although that might change. So I'd have to change out the foot and do all the things, and most of the time I am always set up for piecing because I've got videos I've got to make. I've got projects that I need to sew with deadlines for non-video material, and I've got a long arm set up in here. And so if I'm going to do, I hate basting a quilt. I absolutely hate basting a quilt. I don't mind it when it's on the long arm, though. I just don't want to baste a quilt. So I don't do a lot of free motion quilting where I'm sitting at the machine. I'll just stand up and go over to the long arm and do it. However, now that I have 2 Jukis in here and they use the same furniture, maybe I could, if we wanted to do a domestic free motion quilting live stream, I could always set up the 2010 to be ready for free motion quilting. I could swap out the machines if I wanted to. I just don't know that I want to. What do you do on the retreat? Polio is asking. It depends on the retreat. This month's retreat, we do one once a quarter. This quarter's retreat is going to be focused on UFOs and getting our own projects done. But sometimes we do other big things. For example, the jacket that I was wearing at the beginning of the live stream that is now hanging up on the chair behind me, that was a quilted jacket that we made on a virtual retreat. Corrine says, your ruler that you're using, are they better for someone with older eyes? I can't answer that because everybody's eyes are different. I will tell you, honestly, I like the marking on the Creative Grids rulers better than the marking system on the Quilters Select rulers. However, I can read them. It just took me some getting used to. This is what our block is going to look like. Now I'm going to sew the top and the middle row together. And remember, these seams are going to nest right up against each other, so we're going to be really careful with that. The other thing that we're going to try to be careful with is preserving our point. So let me bring you in nice and tight right here. If you take a look at the top and the middle rows, there's a point right here that I don't want to lose, and there's a point right here that I don't want to lose. And if I line everything up just right, then what's going to happen is this 45-degree line is going to continue right down here, and it's going to give us that square and a square look. So the way I'm going to do that is put my fabrics together, and on the back side, I can see an X where the thread from my seam has kind of come to an intersection. If I poke my needle right through that X, then on this side, we're over here now, camera, focus, oh, there we go. It's kind of hard to see, but that needle, that pin comes right through the fabric, right at the tippy top point of that point. Then I'm going to take the pin and I'm going to poke it through the tippy top part of this point. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. But before I do that, I'm going to let that needle hang nice and straight. And I'm going to come over here and line everything up again. I'm going to find that point. There it is. And I'm going to poke it through the other point. Just like that. And now I'm just going to kind of finagle those around to make sure that the pins are nice and straight. This should have my raw edges nice and lined up where they need to be in order to keep those points. I'm going to put a clip on either side of that pin before I remove it. And we're going to see if this works. Well, I don't know. I'll tell you, I'm not a pinner, so maybe I'm doing this wrong. I'm going to take those pins out. Now I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and I'm going to stitch 1/4 inch all the way down here, except these areas where I have those X intersections, I'm going to make sure that I stay right on top of, or maybe even one thread to the right of that X intersection so that when I open this up, I don't lose my point. Those clips are going to hold the fabrics together in the seam until I get close as the first... Oh, what happened? Hello? Weird. I don't know why the camera just stopped working. That was interesting. As I get close to this clip, I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to stitch down a couple. I don't know. And then I'm going to go right through that X intersection. Remember, when I lined all this up with my pins, I made sure that that X intersection, oh, I was zoomed in. It was working. Thank you, Ian. I looked over and just saw a black screen. It's because I was so far zoomed in. I appreciate you. Because I put the points through the pins, that X intersection should be good, a good mark for both the top and the bottom fabrics. So if I did that right, then when I flip this over, this is my moment of truth. We're going to press this, by the way, up. Oh goodness, is this going to work? Look at that. Now, do you see anything wrong? And this is where I'm going to be completely vulnerable with you right now, because I'm going to show you something that you don't see. Do you see this point right here? Just like that. When I take my ruler, put it on that 45-degree line, it continues. The point's perfect right here. But over here, do you see this one is over just a couple threads? You would have to look real close to see that that was off. When I take you, like, this is honestly, we're over here now, camera. Focus. Now you can probably see it. But that's magnified because I've got your nose up to the fabric. At this length or distance, it's less noticeable. And at this, you can't even tell. So I'm not going to take that out, especially because my raw edges over here are lined up. I've got a 1/4 inch seam that I can see from the points over here. We're going to leave it alone. Amber the kitten's making me laugh. Was that a dog barking earlier? Not in my room, it wasn't. Are you hearing things, Amber the kitten? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I always love it when you show your mistakes because we all make them, VR says, and we all hate them, but we make them. I agree 100%. Here's the thing when it comes to, I can't see the X from that one, so we're going to do it this way. Here's the thing when it comes to mistakes. We all do make them. Nobody is perfect. And what makes me sad is when we're working on YouTube or in social media, those imperfections are oftentimes there in the project, in the quilt. I guarantee you there are imperfections. There are struggles that that creator had, but sometimes they get edited out. Or even if they're not edited out and they left it in, you don't see it because you're looking at it 20 feet away, essentially, on camera. You're looking on a very small screen. You're not seeing it in person. And the whole reason why I like to show you that they're there is because I'm not perfect. Neither is Jenny Doan. Neither is Ian. Nobody on YouTube is perfect. And if they're professing to be perfect and never having any imperfections in their projects, good for them. But that's not me. I want quilting to be enjoyable. I don't want it to be stressful. And if I were trying to make every single little thing perfect every single time I sat down here to work, I think the joy of quilting would be lost for me. I just like making pretty things. Now, don't get me wrong. If I'm working on a show quilt, I'm going to try to make it as dang near perfect as I can. But if I'm just working on a quilt that's going to be loved and appreciated by somebody, I'm not going to stress. Ian is perfect in my eyes. I love Ian. Tiffany, you're perfect. Yep, Jenny will tell you that she isn't perfect. Yes, she does. She's very humble. We are not machines and robots. That's right, Linda. When it's quilted, you won't even notice it. If it's just a couple threads off, by the time it's all quilted and put together, you're going to lose. By the time it's all sewn together and quilted, you're going to lose that small little imperfection because your eye's not going to go right to it. Right now, your eye's not even going to it right now, but your eye would go right to it right now because there's nothing else competing for your eye's attention. Perfectly imperfect. That's right. Mennonite Farmhouse says the Amish purposely make a mistake in their quilts because only God is perfect. Then I'm right there with them. And mine are not always on purpose. All right, so there is my block. I'll zoom you out so you can see that a little bit better. This is what the Fat Quarter Shop block number 9 for the Designer Mystery 2023 quilt looks like. I just want to pet it. It's so pretty. And I will tell you, so a couple of things that I did to make my block a little different. Only one thing. If you look at the picture on the pamphlet, you can see the directional fabric is kind of going every which way. I did take the time to make sure that all my directional fabric was going in the same way, but it's not a directional block. So I could put it in this way or I could put it in this way. It's just all of the directional fabric will go the same way. So there we go. Very pretty. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. All right. Where's my mouse? You know what we haven't done in a while is a little bit of show and tell. So if you want to put a picture in the Facebook group, exclamation Facebook, we'll get you a link over to the Facebook group. We will do a little bit of show and tell in just a moment. But before we do, let's take a look at the chat, see if there are any questions that I'm missing. Do you square up the final block? Sherry is asking, yes, I do, but not until all 12 of my blocks are done. When I started quilting, I took a beginner's quilting class, and one of the lessons that was taught to me is wait to square up your blocks until all of them are made, because if you find that one of the blocks, let's say your blocks all should square to 9.5, if you find that one of the blocks is 9.25, sometimes it's easier to square all of your blocks up to 9.25 and just have a smaller size quilt than it would be to square everything up to 9.5 and figure out what to do with that one block. With something like this, if I did all that, I mean, I'd probably lose my points on everything. These blocks are all going to go into a finishing setting. So as I start working them into the finishing setting, I will square them up before I move on to the next step, but not right now. I leave them unsquared because sometimes I want to square them all at once. But I also try to follow the same rule with all of my projects so that I don't have to remember whether or not I squared or not. Excuse me. Small details like directional fabric going in the same way make a very big difference to the finished piece. I agree. All right. Let's see what we have in the chat or in the Facebook group. And then we'll go over and share. By the way, oh wow, that's so pretty. Nicely done. If you guys didn't see, oh yeah, you should show your audience the quilt I made you. I bet they would love to see it. Tiffany, do you mean the one on my bed? Jason or Ian, will you text Jason and ask him to, or Mary, will one of you ask Jason to bring the quilt that Tiffany made for us off of our bed down to the sewing room? I can't go up and get it. It's all the way upstairs on the other side of the house. So he's going to have to bring it to me. We will talk about the purple block behind me I have another question to answer first. Erica is asking, do you ever repeat a quilt pattern? Yes, I do. If it is a pattern, I don't have a pick, Tiff. Not easily handy. Yeah, I don't have a pick of it yet. Sorry. Maybe I do, and I don't. I'd have to hunt for it. It's just easier to show the quilt. Yes, I do repeat a quilt pattern if it's a quilt that I absolutely love. And I also sometimes repeat working with fabric. For example, what is the name of the line? Seashore Drive. I've made multiple quilts of because I love that line so much. I just wanted to keep making them. And actually what happened is I'd make the quilt and it was going to be for me because I really love the fabric, but everybody else really loved the fabric. So I made multiple of those quilts and they all walked out of my door as gifts. However, Stephanie Fulton, who's in the chat, she took one of my quilt tops that was made with that fabric and then got a couple honey buns of that same fabric line, added a beautiful piano key border to it, and re-gifted the quilt back to me. That quilt is also upstairs on a bed right now. It's on my guest bed, so I can't show you that either. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Ian. Jason is grabbing the quilt for me, so when he comes in, I will show you the quilt that Tiffany is texting me about. She's texting me on the side. You can't see it in the chat. Deb says, I found a bunch of my practice blocks the other day. Might have to figure out how to put them in a quilt. They are all different sizes. That can be a little challenging, but what you could do, Deb, is figure out what the delta is, right? Or I'm sorry, what the small size is and what the biggest size is. Once you know what the biggest size is, you can grow all of your blocks to that size. And you can do that with just some sashing around each of those blocks. And then you can sew them together in a sampler setting if you'd like. And if you really want to give it a little bit more pop, once they're all that size, then you could put a final sashing around each one just to add a little bit of definition and negative space to all the blocks. Here's Jason. Let me show you the quilt that Tiffany's talking about. So this quilt, it's a doozy, guys. It's 106 inches by 106 inches. I'm going to need you to help me hold this up. All Sorry.
Fine.
He said,
just tell
fine.
Your gang to stop blowing up my phone.
Everybody was texting you? All right, so this hasn't been washed yet. Goodness, it's heavy. Okay. So, what I'm going to tell you about this quilt before I pull it up, I'm just going to sit here and talk. Hey, babe.
Hello.
Hello, he said. So, this was a block of the month that I purchased from my local quilt shop years ago. And when I picked it up, I was determined to make this. And then I cut into month 1, and I followed the cutting instructions very particularly, very exact. But I had missed the group meeting where they told you to cut it different than what the book said. And so I was a little short on fabric. Now, fortunately, I did find some from Etsy and I was able to make the block, but that left me disheartened. And all 11 of the other months and the finishing layout, I think it was 11 of the other months, maybe it was 10 at that point, but they sat undone for years. And when I moved into this house, I did a destash, or not a destash. I went through and unpacked everything once my sewing room was done. And I did that on a live stream. And I made a decision. I did Marie Kondo. If it was something that I wasn't going to do, it wasn't going to bring me joy, I wasn't going to do it, I paid it forward. I had about 3 boxes that weighed like 50 to 60 pounds a piece that I sent to Tiffany. And this was in that box. And I said, Tiffany, you can keep everything in all of those boxes, but I want that quilt back. And so she picked it up and she started working this on her channel. There are videos of her putting this quilt together. And so that's what I'm going to show you now. This is called Tranquility, I believe. It is a square quilt. It's a medallion quilt. So you can, there is no right side up. It fits our king size bed. Oh, actually, let's just hang it up behind me. Yes, it's heavy. I'm going to need you to do it, though, because it's so heavy. Here's a clip. You can let it drag on the floor if you just do that one down, because then I can get it down later. Yep. Oh, my gosh. I will take it upstairs after the live stream's over. Oh, my gosh. It's over there somewhere. There it is. That was great. Up.
Oh. Yeah, this is not going to work.
Here, we just need to do multiple. You're going to have two up before we do the other side. It's so heavy. Here, I'll hold the weight. The things I do for Tiffany, I tell you.
I do not know where that got off.
You should show them the quilt I made you. Tiffany, somebody's going to lose an eye. Okay. Whew! That was a workout. And it's still on the floor.
So don't press your luck. Leave it alone.
Well, I'm trying to, so they can see it. Okay. Let me get my chair back over here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Ugh. Okay, if one of these shoots off during the live stream and hits me in the back of the head, I'm blaming Tiffany.
Well, if it knocks you out, have somebody text me.
Ian, Mary, if I get knocked out, text Jason. Hey, I found it. Hey, he's gone. I found the other clip. So this is the quilt. I think you guys can all see it. Here's why I went through all of that work to pull it out so you could see it, is because this quilt is actually in a quilt show right now. This has been entered into the virtual Quilt Fest as a quilt that you can vote on. If you go to the virtual Quilt Fest site for Sewing Machine from Sewing Machines Plus, and you do a search for Tiffany G, you will find one of two quilts that she has entered, and this is one of them. The other person that has a quilt in the Quilt Fest is Ian. His Rainbow Vortex is in the show as well. So if you wanted to support both of them, you could vote. You can vote twice per day, every day. You could vote once for Ian and once for this. If you vote for this one, you vote for Tiffany, but then you also vote for me because I get to keep it. It is beautiful. I wish I could show you the detail of the quilting on the live stream. I cannot, but what I will do is take a picture of it and put it in the Facebook group. So if you're a part of the Facebook group, you can go check it out later. And it makes a beautiful backdrop right now. So I've been having a problem with asthma today. And I can feel it flaring up, especially because I got up and started moving around. My allergies have been kicking my butt. We could have just posted a link to it. Yep. Thank you, Ian, for dropping the link for the voting. All right. Will Jason speak? His voice is like honey, and I love to hear him. I mean, he's gone now. All right, let's go take a look. Oh, before we do, you guys were asking about this quilt. This is a mini quilt. It is made from a pattern called In My Heart. I picked up a kit for this from Sew Mariana at QuiltCon, but the fabric that they had in the kit, I decided I didn't want to work with. So I used some purple scraps that were left over from a 3-yard quilt that my mom put together. And I grabbed a yard of the black thatched fabric that was in my stash, and I put this together. I'm going to call this Purple Heart, and the reason why I'm going to call it Purple Heart is because my grandfather, who I didn't really know very much, actually did get a Purple Heart during the Korean War, War in Korea, whatever, Korea. He got a Purple Heart. I remember seeing it at his funeral. I remember hearing the stories about it, but that's all I really have. And so this is my Purple Heart quilt that I made as I was thinking about my grandfather. It's not super complex. It is not super complicated. It is an FPP kit. And I really liked how the contrast of the light and the dark purple kind of gave it a 3D effect. So I'm going to quilt this myself. I am going to bind it, and it's not super intricate. It's probably not even, it's not an original design because it's from a pattern, but I do plan to enter it into a couple of shows just because I want to honor my grandfather with a quilt. So there we go. That's that. And then I did have this hanging up behind me, so I figure I'll tell you guys about this before we jump over to Facebook. This is a quilt that was made for me from Karen Bolin. She is a quilt instructor. She's pretty big on Instagram. Not big like millions of people, but I would say she's got a good following over on Instagram. She was my swap partner for QuiltCon, and we each made each other a mini quilt. I made her one. You'd have to go check out my video and check out my post to see what that quilt looked like. I don't have it anymore. I don't even think I have a picture of it handy, but this is the one that she made for me. It was improv pieced, and on the back, the back is definitely scrappy. And then she wrote a little message that said, "For Becca from Karen Bolin," and I'll come over here and show you. And she drew a little kitty cat on it too. There she is, just right there. And this is the quilt up close. I love how it's wonky and definitely has an improv look to it. I haven't found the right place to hang it up yet. I've got a couple ideas in mind, but it's mine. All right. Heartstrings. That's beautiful, Becca. Purple heart. Yep. Did you finish the panda quilt in time? No. The panda, oh, that was my goal for February. The blocks are all pieced. I just have to put them together, and I had to order some additional fabric. I've got to do some quilt math to put it together, but it will be done in the month of March. Ian says, I want to do the mini swap next year. Yes. Me too. All right, let's go over to the Sew and Tell. I will let you know in the Facebook group up at the top of the page, there is a form. Oh, great idea, Cindy. Cindy said, do you have a picture of your grandfather to send with the Purple Heart quilt submission? I'm sure I could get one. Mom, if you want to, let's talk. Let's see if I can get a picture of Grandpa Rogers. Okay, so in the Facebook group, up at the top of the page, there is a link that is pinned to a form I would love for you to fill out. This is just going to be up there for a few more days. I'm looking for some feedback from you about content that I'm going to be making over the course of 2024. Your input would help mold the direction or help me figure out the direction that I'm going to take with the channel. So feel free to fill that out. Going back to the homepage, let's see what you guys have been working on over the past few weeks. Sorry. Oh my goodness. Kelly says, I'm making a wall hanging for my bedroom to go with my new quilt. I just got it back from the quilters. Oh, I like that. Oh, wow. So pretty. I don't know if I have a picture of his Purple Heart. Mom, that's all on you. Whatever you can find. Leanne says, this is a quilt I made without a pattern for my dad who just turned 87 years old. The panel was free, but I spent over $200 on fabric in the same quilt shop. Shirley says, I just finished this quilt top for my number 14 grandson. M. Curry made this quilt. Joanne says, this is a 2023 UFO I machine quilted this week with the lighter fabric looks like confetti. You guys, I need to take just a moment. We're going to take a human break for just a second. I need to run to the restroom. So I'll be right back. Hold tight. Think about that beautiful quilt. This will give you time to take a picture and upload it to Facebook group. We'll look at it in just a moment. Okay, thank you so much for being patient with me. All right, let's get back to the Facebook pictures that are in the group, see what you guys have been working on. I'm going to scroll on down. This is from Shelly Clark. The quilt top she worked on is a recovery from back surgery. She had to stand and walk 10 minutes every hour. It was so boring to walk around the kitchen island, so I sewed and pressed, which was great therapy. Looking forward to getting back to the long arm. And now you have a memory of that therapy. Jacqueline said, thanks for adding me some items I finished this year. Here's a beautiful little heart block. Oh, wow, that's so pretty. Love it. Holly says, I still don't have it finished, but all the blocks are done and I have the layout figured out. Now I just have the boring sizing up to do, finding it hard to get motivated to get going though. I prefer the creating part or the quilting. The rest is dull and boring. LOL. I love those flowers. They're beautiful. Nicole says, I keep forgetting to add this. It's my latest Afghan that I finished. Thought I would share before putting little man to bed. This is what my sister crocheted. Very nice. She does some beautiful work. Very pretty. Uh-oh, I think I'm going to sneeze. Kristen says, I'm squaring up HSTs for a wall hanging. Anthea says, this is a Sew Sweetness bag pattern for the Models Art Supplies. I muted my microphone because I was pretty sure I was going to sneeze, and I did not. Michelle says, I finished Cotton Cuts Clue 1 and I'm catching up on Tree of Life Clue 2. I did Fat Quarter Shop last week. Nice. Anita says, this is a huge dino panel with a minky back. Juanita says, I'm working with my Duckadilly fabrics from QuiltCon. I'm in love. I may have visited their booth 3 or 4 times because I couldn't stop myself. Janine is working on her temperature quilt. Don't forget, Sassy from Memoirs of a Long Arm Quilter is doing a wonderful sew along with the temperature quilt if you're interested. Day says this is a little more, there is still a little more to do, but her kaleidoscope FPP top is done for now. That looks great, Day. Donna is at Disney with her lovely granddaughter Peyton at cheer camp, cheer con, cheer something, cheer comp, something like that. And there's a picture of Donna and Miss Peyton in front of the castle. Aw, you go, Peyton. Rebecca Post says, I just need some sashing, but the shop didn't have the purple I wanted, so I will complete the blocks when it's back in stock. This is Tula Pink's Besties fabric and the balcony quilt pattern. This is my mom's latest quilt that Tiffany and my mom made together, and I'm trying to think. I taught her how to do it, but I think my mom did most of the sewing. This is the Jelly Roll braid quilt that I started sewing in a live stream a couple weeks ago with my mom. It's the video tutorial that we will have dropping, is it this coming week or next week? I can't remember. Video tutorial coming soon. I think it's this coming week, so a few days from now. It's modified. It doesn't look like this. I didn't make mine look like that, but now that I look at that layout, I feel like I'd rather have that pattern. I need to go back and look at the measurements. Paper piecing of the Psychedelic Snowflakes from Linda Robinson. This is from Debbie Dunn. This is her favorite quilt at the Sewing Expo. Oh, it's so beautiful. Yeah, I think the tutorial is next week and the Mid-Atlantic Quilt Fest video is this week. So a week and a half. Sorry about that. Katrina says, I'm home and the sewing room is back in full operation. The Choo Choo baby quilt I started this week. The Starflower from Open Gate quilt, 12 Days of Christmas. It was long-armed while I was out of town and finished tonight. I cannot wait to make this quilt. I have the kit. I want to make it. It's gorgeous. Yeah, Grindle Holly, I like the line separating the braids too. That was Tiffany's design choice. It's not what I did in my braid quilt, but I think I'm going to revisit the pattern and give you that layout because I like that layout better. Rolene says this is my front door banner for St. Patrick's Day. And we're back to the new post. Let's refresh my screen and see if there's anything else new that's been added since I started this like 15 minutes ago. Anita says this is a Valentine's quilt that is still in progress. Guess I am ahead of it for next year. Aw, there's a picture of, oh my gosh, he looks so young. He looks like he's 13. I know he's not, but that's my Grandpa Rogers, his military photo. And I will just go ahead and save that so I have it for later. Oh, and there's a picture of his Purple Heart. I will just go ahead and save that for later too. Huh. I actually don't remember what that looked like. Nicole says, this is my very first quilt top done via pattern, Tiffany's Double Carpenter Star. That is a free pattern that you can download from my downloads page that Tiffany wrote if you're interested in it. M. Curry says the new babies are coming. Rex Ezra, dinosaur quilt. Kathy says, I am still a newbie to quilting, but here's my latest top. It is out to the quilter. I think you did a marvelous job, and you don't need to tell anybody that you're a newbie quilter. Just tell them that you're a quilter, period. Susie says, start the sock quilt from Center Street Quilts using my forest block. Karen says, yesterday I finished a charity quilt. The quilting isn't exactly white, but was hung against an Arcadia door so that the sunlight is shining through. Yesterday I finished a charity quilt. The quilting isn't actually white, but it was hung against an Arcadia door so the sunlight is shining through to make it look like there's quilting that's white. Ah, got it, because it's backlit. Oh my goodness. Joanne says, I'm working on this one. It's a wedding gift for my grandson, and it's now ready to go on the long arm, and it's called Midwinter Blues. I love that. And then we're back to the beginning. We're going to refresh one more time, see if anything else popped up. Nope, I think that's it. Okay. Thin Mint. The Girl Scouts totally held me hostage. They put a gun to my head and said, buy the cookies. I bought the cookies. Yep. They were at the quilt show when we went to the Mid-Atlantic Quilt Fest. We walked past the Girl Scout table, and I kind of did this. No, I don't see you. I don't see you. I don't see you. We went into the quilt show, and then on the way out, I was like, okay, fine. And I dropped. They're like $5 a box now, so I bought 5 or 6 boxes of cookies. And we've been working on this box of Thin Mints for the past week and a half, and it's not just me. Ian's had some, Jason's had some, my mom's had some, and this is what's left from them. And I think I am doing quite well at pacing myself because I've only had 2 out of the whole box, and this is what's left. So, yeah, you're welcome. Alexandra says, now I want some chocolate mints. Trina says, I wish I had been a quilter when he was still alive, talking about her dad or her grandfather. Becca, your quilt behind you is gorgeous. Thank you. I can't take credit for it. Tiffany made it. If you like it, you can go vote for it over at the Sewing Machines Plus Virtual Quilt Fest. Don't forget, Ian has a quilt in there too. You could also vote for that one. Amber says, my little sister just sneezed and it caught me off guard. Karen says, one of our local quilt show owners has a granddaughter that sells them. Oh, those Girl Scouts are fierce. They are. Dad. Okay, got it. Your dad. Trina's dad. Okay. All right, listen, I'm going to end here. It's after 10 o'clock. That quilt belongs on my bed with me underneath it. So I'm going to head upstairs. I'm going to call it a night. But don't forget, there's plenty of quilty content creators that will have entertainment for you this weekend. Sean's got a live stream first thing in the morning tomorrow with Brecky with Sean. And of course, you've got back-to-back-to-back content creators throughout the entire weekend. Make sure to call someone you love, give them a hug, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye! Oh, wait, hold on. I have a question. Sorry. I was going to say bye, and I literally looked over here, and there was a question that just popped up. So I'll answer the question, then I'll say bye. Trina says, Becca. Well, I saw your question, Trina, and now I'm going to answer it anyway. She says, blah, 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 and what do you do professionally? I can't remember what the first question was, but I think it was what made you want to quilt or something like that. But what I do professionally is I'm an IT program manager. I don't quilt professionally. I wished I did, maybe one day, but there's the answer. Since she retracted the question, I guess she doesn't need the answer. So now I'll leave. I'll see you guys all next week. Bye, friends. Do, 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 do. What are you still doing here? Go to bed. No, I'm not eating cookies. Leave me alone. Bye.